So hello. If you could just state your name, when you graduated, and what your current occupation is now.
Okay, my name is David Keefe, and I graduated from the program in 1981. And currently my job is coordinator of the Genesee Region Clean Communities Coalition, which is a nonprofit dedicated to promoting the use of alternative fuels and alternative fuel vehicles.
So what are some of your responsibilities on the job?
Well, one of the things we do is we do outreach to fleets. We try to focus on fleets of cars or trucks in the public or private sector or nonprofit sector. We try to do outreach to them to educate them about the advantages of alternative fuels, the cost savings, the environmental benefits, the energy security benefits, and that kind of thing. So we'd have face-to-face meetings. I also organize outreach events, which could be shows or lectures, things like that, where people can come and learn about a specific alternative fuel or fuels. I help disseminate information about alternative fuels. So may have people call me up and ask me questions about tax credits for electric cars, for example. I manage our website, and I do a newsletter, and I do whatever the board asks me to do in addition to those functions.
So what was your favorite thing about the MPA program?
I think my favorite thing was the professors. I really had some really good professors during that time, and the program was new when I started. I started actually in about 1976. The program was just getting going,
Right.
and so the young professors came in who were excited about starting this program and teaching in it and all that. And I think the program was small. There was a lot of enthusiasm, and so I really enjoyed that collegiality with the professors.
So when you were going to school at Brockport, is this what you thought you would be doing with your MPA?
No. Actually, when I started in the program, I was an in-service student, so I was working for the county of Monroe at that time. I had a full-time job, and so I went part-time at night. So I wanted to really work in the governmental realm, and I did spend 33 years in public service in the county of Monroe government and the city of Rochester. So really this is something that's sort of a second career for me, or third career.
Right. So how did you end up in your current position after graduation? Or then when you were working the government job in public service?
I'm not sure I understand the question, sorry.
So how did you end up where you are now in the job?
Oh,
How did
okay.
you get to where you are?
Oh, okay, all right. Well, as I said, I worked in various positions within the Monroe County government in human services and training, things like that. Then I went over to the city of Rochester, and I worked in a variety of other jobs there in the budget department, in the environmental services department, in the Department of Economic Development. But my last position was as the director of fleet services for the city of Rochester, which took care of all the fleet needs, like repairs and fueling and things like that. So when I was in that job, my boss, who was the commissioner, asked me to begin attending meetings of this new group, Genesee Region Clean Communities, that had just been started in around 1994. And he asked me to just go to their meetings. They wanted a city representative, so I took an interest in it, and also in the subject matter, alternative fuels. I got on their board, and then after I retired from my job in 2004, I remained on the board, but in 2007, the person who was the coordinator of this nonprofit left, and I took that job. So I kind of came to it in a sort of a circuitous manner.
So students may look at this video one day and say, wow, I want a job like that too. So how did you make it happen? What was your strategy?
Well, I guess I was in the right place at the right time. I was interested in it. I had the skill set to do it. I will tell you, this is a part-time job for me, so it's not, I did use a lot of my learning and education from the MPA program in full-time positions in government. But I think it was just being in the right place in the right time, the willingness to do it, and having an interest in it.
So, what are some of the transferable skills you learned through the MPA program that helped you get the job you have now?
I think understanding of the different levels of government, the intergovernmental aspects of government, of funding sources, understanding how different levels of government work, what they can and can't do. I think it helps me be more effective in trying to find solutions to things that may involve government. We deal with the Department of Energy, we get some money from them. So I think having learned about federal bureaucracy and federal policies and policy making, I think that was very helpful. Also, I think learning about budgeting and how public budgets are constructed was helpful.
So, what is your advice for current students who are looking to set themselves up for a job upon graduation?
Well, that's a good question. I think that kind of depends on what kind of job they're seeking. I know when I was in the program way back, most of the people who were in it, who were part-timers, worked for government. But since I've been an instructor in the program, I noticed I've seen a shift to a lot of nonprofit folks. So I think that setting yourself up in the nonprofit world versus government, they're kind of different paths. I'd say though in general, and this may sound cliche, but I think try to use networks as much as possible. I think try to join associations or do an internship or go to social events where folks might be that would be in a field that you might be interested in. So that would just be a general thing for all positions. I think, and I've said this for a long time, I think for governmental positions, especially entry level, I think I would tell people to just take civil service exams. Take exams, even if you're not even sure you'd want that job, but if you qualify, to get on civil service lists. I know I found in my career early on, I took some exams for positions and I really didn't know if I'd even get an interview, but in a couple of cases, opportunities came up where I was hired or promoted because I was already on the civil service list for that job. So I think that's really important. And I think making a self-assessment of your skill set and trying to compare that to what career options might fit that. You know, I mean, if you're going to be a budget analyst, are you strong in the analytical skills? Are you, if you're going to be in, say, the area of communications, you know, how are your writing skills and that kind of thing. So those are some of the things I would tell them.
All right. Well, thank you for having an interview with us.
Sure. That's it.